Issues, all of us are paying very close attention, and Hillary Clinton as well here in Florida. Let me bring in two voices. Matt Schlapp, former political director for George W. Bush and a Trump supporter. Actually, scratch that, three voices. Lucky me. CNN Politics executive editor Mark Preston and CNN political commentator Hillary Rosen, a Clinton supporter and a Democratic strategist. Wow. Mark, to you first. I mean, it's been so fascinating. We just watching, even working yesterday and Labor Day, and now we are sort of over that holiday hump. To November 8th. Talk to me just a bit about the political atmosphere, these two rallies happening in key states at the very same time, and the poll out today.
Yeah, no doubt, Brooke. I mean, look, we are looking with in the rearview mirror of Labor Day. We have 60-odd days left before the election. We're in a political knife fight, and what we saw through the months of July and August are going to peel in comparison what we're going to see in September and October. This is going to get very ugly. This is going to get very nasty. And they're going to be talking really about a few key issues: the economy, as well as terrorism and foreign policy. As you noted just now, we had these dueling rallies where they're discussing it. We'll see Tim Kaine talking about it in another state, potentially a battleground state of North Carolina today. These are issues on the people's mind. And for all of those viewers who haven't been clued in, they will now be clued in. So just imagine the entire nation now will be tuned in to the next 60 days of this presidential race. Yeah,
you mentioned next hour, and we'll listen in to Tim Kaine, Hillary Clinton's running mate. He's talking national security. And so, Matt, here's my question for you. As we've been listening to Donald Trump, we'll be listening for Tim Kaine. National security is sort of the theme that is pervasive on this day after Labor Day. When you look at the polls, Hillary Clinton has an edge when it comes to foreign policy. Donald Trump has an edge when it comes to terrorism. What are you listening most for? What do you think would put a voter over the edge?
Look, I think the question of security, Brooke, is right on. I think it's our economic security and what we see, the fact that America has somehow lost its leadership in the worldwide economy. And I think it's this question of national security. Do Americans feel safe and secure in their communities and in their homes? And I think the answer to both those questions is answered by the right track, wrong track question, where upwards to 66% or so of Americans, which is a lot of Democrats included, feel like this nation is on the wrong track. Somehow this nation has lost itself. We are not heading in the right direction. So I think these themes, when so much of the American electorate believes that we're on the wrong track, I think it really benefits the outsider. That benefits Donald Trump.
Benefits Donald Trump. Talking to, Congressman Rogers a second ago. Also, you look at the atmosphere surrounded by veterans, being, asked questioned of by a close friend, advisor, retired Army General Mike Flynn. And so Hillary Rosen, we will certainly be listening for Tim Kaine sort of slamming Donald Trump. Just looking at an excerpt, he's going to basically point out that Donald Trump over the years has been all over the place, right? On Iraq, on Russia, on Libya. Give me a preview.
Well, he has been all over the place. The problem is, though, he doesn't admit it. So then people really don't know what he's thinking, like he's doing all week on immigration, back and forth, back and forth. He's done that on the Iraq War. He's done that on Syria. He's done that on troops in Afghanistan. He's done that on ISIS. And so I think what you're going to hear Tim Kaine say is, which is the real Donald Trump? Does he have a view of foreign policy? And importantly, that Hillary Clinton does have one. I'm not really sure what world Matt's living in, but the United States' global economic position is actually quite strong. The dollar is high against the euro. It's high against the yen. The global economy is really depending on the United States right now in so many ways. And so what we have to do is make our domestic economy stronger. Hillary Clinton is talking about that. In the last hour, I heard Donald Trump just basically complain, but I heard Hillary Clinton offer solutions on climate change, on jobs, on security. So I think that this next 60 days are going to be really important, but I think what's going to be important is, can Donald Trump do more than complain, and will people give Hillary Clinton's policy a listen, or is the noise just too loud in this campaign to get to real solutions?
Matt, Hillary wonders what world you are living in. Respond, please.
Yeah, if a Republican were to tell you don't worry, be happy. In the current economic state where people haven't seen their incomes rise, they see their economic prospects drifting away, they see their home values, and let me finish, they see their home values and their pensions in an increasingly precarious situation. If any Republican were to say that, they'd be heartless. The fact is, Hillary, you ought to recognize that people outside our zip code and outside New York City, they are hurting. And this economic situation we're in, where we have the lowest percentage of labor participation since Jimmy Carter, this is a big problem for regular old Americans who are trying to scratch together the money to pay their bills, and you should take it more seriously.
Let's not go revisionist here. What I said was, as a country, our dollar is strong against other countries'
which is not good for us.
Where we need help is in the domestic economy, and so that is important. And you can say it's not good for us, but it's your candidate who thinks that trade is irrelevant to the global economy.
It's not true.
So if we're going to try and manufacture here and do export, we have to have a stronger domestic economy. We have to have a stronger global economy. So I don't see any scenario where Donald Trump has offered actual policy. What I see is a lot of complaining. And
Brooke,
I just don't think
the
American people want to hear complaining.
Go ahead, Matt. Go ahead.
I think, Hillary, I think what the American people see is, I don't think they're as partisan as you or I are. I think they simply want to have a job that they can believe in, and they want to know that their wages will increase over time, and they have the money to pay for what they need to get done for their kids and for their lives. And I think it's kind of heartless to act like, no, everything's fine. The fact is, the American economy is weak, and the American electorate in poll after poll says that. It's the #1 issue. And after 7.5 years of Obama policy, you've had your shot. It didn't work for people. And enough voters across this country are saying, I'm willing to try change. They're willing to try so much change that they're willing to take a bet on someone who's never been involved in politics before. That must make Hillary feel really bad, the fact that she's been in it for so long, and this outsider is leading her in this CNN poll.
Now, hang on. I heard Donald Trump say he's winning. Let's be precise. They are basically they're neck and neck within the margin of error, which is significant and which is something that Trump has been talking about. Mark, hold on. Mark Preston, I don't want to feel like I'm ignoring you. Mark Preston, just quickly on immigration, because we've heard so many different iterations of thoughts on immigration from Trump, and I know the surrogates are saying it's been crystal clear. Here's what I'm wondering. Do you think he is being intentionally murky? Is that a smart strategy here, playing to both sides?
I don't necessarily think it's intentional, but certainly it's confusing when he says one thing one day and says something the next day, and then, of course, his campaign and his surrogates say, in fact, that he's been very clear about it. He hasn't been very clear about it. But what I would say is that his newest position, his most latest position, the idea that he would be open to the idea of allowing some of these undocumented workers to stay here in the United States, is going to be more accepting to a broad part of the Republican base, as well as independent voters, certainly in key states that he needs to win. So politically, that would be a better position at this point in the campaign to take.
Okay. Mark and Matt.